What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. You've got just Dirk. Alex is having some computer problems, but we do have Jim Skelton over here in the back that we're going to pull in just a second. So let's bring him. Let me click the right button here. There he is. Oh, boy. I told you we could be live any minute, man.
Oh, man. Poor Alex. He always misses all the fun, doesn't he?
Yeah. So if we rewind a year-ish to Super Bowl of 2022, because our planning is perfect.
Yeah, that was the best possible day.
We had Jim on as our first guest, and Alex that day had dog issues. His dog got injured. He went to the emergency vet, and he couldn't really join us. He joined from the car for about 20 minutes at the end. And then when he said goodbye, he somehow hit the end broadcast button instead of just the hang up button. And Jim and I just went, and it was done. So we'll see if Alex joins us here in a few minutes.
Let's hope he doesn't disconnect us again.
Yeah, Alex, if you're listening from your phone or something, if you join from your phone, be careful when you hang up. That's my only words of wisdom or advice.
So what have you been up to lately?
I'm switching jobs.
Are you? Wow. Now, is this a step up or is it a lateral move?
It's about the same. It's about lateral. It's just a different company now. So 6-8 months ago, I switched from one company to another. And now I'm switching from that company to another. So, I don't know. We'll see. More details on that once the move actually happens. It'll be fine.
Oh, you're having to relocate or no?
No. Once the transition from company to company changes, then I'll disclose all details. But I try to keep the current employer in the dark about the new employer so that there's no drama about anything and whatnot. So,
yeah.
But no, it's fine. I'm not going to relocate. I am thinking about relocating at some point, maybe. I've been looking at buying a house and
just get your ass out of California, man, before that whole state implodes.
I have been looking elsewhere. So we'll see. So yeah, just work and busting out videos and trying to stay out of trouble.
Yeah, I've caught, I think, most, if not all, of your recent videos over the past couple of weeks. Great job, by the way, as always.
Oh, thank you. I don't know about great. Great might be a stretch, but
I love it, man, because you're so laid back. You're not overly hyped about anything, and if you do get excited, it's genuine, and we can sense it. And you very thoroughly explain what it is that excites you about it. But you don't ever drop off into the valley of hyperbole. Oh my goodness, there he is.
I try not to. That's been something that I've really tried to not get into the hype train and not be fake or phony. And because there's enough of that on YouTube already. Yeah, and I know you've done a video about that. I've touched on it here and there. Thank you, Stacy. We try with our beards. Alex is the lone wolf there, but so I do try to be just straightforward and probably a little boring to some. And I talk about the stuff and I say the good and the bad, as everybody knows. So it is what it is. I try to be gentle in my negatives so as to not irritate people.
Right.
I try.
In his mind, he's being gentle.
Yeah. Yes, sometimes you got to scramble a couple of eggs. It just happens.
Sometimes you're putting your finger right in their ass.
I try not to do that. I try not to do that, but you do have to be honest. You do have to be honest.
I think what people want to see, they want to see your personality. They're not really always looking for expertise. They want to see a personality along with like some cool product, and they want to see why you like it or why don't you like it, right? But you can't just be an ass and keep ripping every single knife you run into or nitpick about everything. Or if you are going to nitpick, just say, hey, I'm going to nitpick a little here because I should or I feel like it. But just be objective about what you do. And I think that's great. And it's harder for a guy like Dirk, who does 2 videos a day and is reviewing a gazillion knives.
And he's not doing 10-minute cinematic intros.
No,
Yes.
I decided early on, and you made a great point, Alex, that they're not coming to my channel for expertise, because we know if you're coming to my channel for expertise, you must be a moron.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I mean,
very little expertise going on my channel.
I just want to here's my thing. If I click on your channel, and I already told you why I watch your channel, to me, you're like a knife catalog. Like, you have a little bit of everything, and I could go through your playlist and see, you know, hundreds of makers, and I can kind of pick, and you know, I get a good feeling. And I mean, granted, we talk almost every day and we're friends, so I know your personality. I know your things that you like and don't like. So I take everything with a grain of salt, but I kind of do that with all my video watching per se. Same thing with like Jim's videos, right? Like Jim has his own things that he likes and he wants to like rave about. And I think that's great, because I want to know what Jim's
we all have different tastes. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
So we're allowed to be hyped up about something if we really like it. And then we're allowed to crap on some stuff. But again, just remaining objective, you know, and if you are being subjective, just be open about that too. I just tried to, you know, bury people over, you know, stuff like HRC and, you know, oh, it's M390 again. Like, there's such stupid stuff going on out there.
Yeah.
I'll still buy a knife if it's in S30, or I even made a point. I was reviewing a Tucson with the 14C28N.
Yeah.
When you really like compare the specs of that steel, it's a fucking awesome steel. I mean, it's really good in all sorts of categories, but because it's not high in price, it makes people think that it's not a good steel, you know, or it's subpar perhaps, right? You're putting it down with a 440C or something like that. And actually that steel's good too in its own respect.
Yeah, 440C is still steel. Yeah.
If you're old school, you know about 440C well. So.
I think you nailed it. There is the price. People get hung up on price. So they don't want knives too cheap, but they don't want things too expensive. But if it's too cheap, they think it's just junk.
Yep.
Like
absolutely.
The Caladan came in at a great price. And people, I think, were a little shocked at that price.
Nobody was more shocked than me, because as I was developing it, I had expected to hear a certain cost level that would have put me in the 400s at retail.
That's where I thought you were going to be when you announced you were making a knife. I thought you were going to be in the 400s. And I was
comfortable with that. I was okay with that. So when I got my cost back and went, oh, crap, I can sell these for under 300. And it gives so many more people an opportunity to get into it. Because, again, you know, the majority of people that are going to buy the Caladan already know me, have already watched some of my videos, most likely, or follow me on Instagram. So they're most likely at a certain level of collecting or have been around the community for a while. So they're not that type of customer. It's going to go, well, it's more than $50. I'm not spending more than $50 on a knife.
Correct.
So when they saw the prices, a lot of the feedback I got initially as people were beginning to order before they completed their order was, oh my God, I didn't expect it to be that cheap.
I didn't either.
That made me really happy.
I was guessing it was going to be in that 350 to 400 range when you had talked about it and showed the prototypes and some of that. And I thought, that's fine. That's fair. That's good.
Well, and the most expensive right now is the ones that I just got from Fanatic Edge that we had done the customizations on. And even these are only $350. This has got color shift. It goes from blue to purple. And this is the all polished one. I don't know if my lighting is good enough to actually show that it's polished.
There we go.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, they did a bang-up job, and I was really glad to have been able to partner with them to do that, because they did.
And how much is that adding to the price?
$100.
Okay.
Yeah, so the Jig Titanium.
So now you're at the price that you originally thought.
Yeah, so this is $350 now with all of the extra work done. Factoring
That's
in the
different,
shipping
though.
back and forth from me and the Phonetic Edge and
Yeah,
all that.
Well, and I want to add that Phonetic Edge has been around a really long time. I've bought stuff from him before. I used to have a really nice Omen, and that guy's legit, man. His work, like the colors that he gets are usually a tone a little bit above the rest. So
you bring that up to get
beautiful.
this saturation of purple.
Yeah.
It's normally going to be either a high satin finish or a mirror polish, and he's able to achieve that on a bead blasted, very matte dull finish. So I was really surprised at the vibrancy when these came in. I was like, wow, holy shit. And to do the color shift was a creative choice that he made. Because basically I said, hey, I'm going to send you 10 knives.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want to do. If you want to mill them, if you want to laser engrave them, if you want to anodize them, it's all up to you.
Yeah,
because I'm putting your name on there with us, and calling these Phonetic Edge editions. So you use your creativity and do what you think looks great. And they're all phenomenal. Now I only got 7 of the 10 back. The other 3 are arriving on Tuesday. I don't know what they are. I have no friggin' idea.
Okay. Did you know what these were, or no? He just sent them to you blind.
Yeah, no, I knew which ones these were, and he had let me know, hey, these are the ones that are in the package. I'm like, oh, thank God you let me know, because I would have opened the box and freaked out, going, where the hell are the other 3?
Yeah.
But Andrew's a really, really good guy, and I had gotten turned on to their work when I got my Omen V2, and when we had discussed that, he's like, I said, put some stank on it, do whatever you want to do. And that's when he did that crazy ass starburst with the lightning anodizing in the starburst. It was an incredible knife, and it took a lot of time for him to do it. It was, I don't mean that I had to wait a long time. I mean, he put a lot of work into it, and it looked fantastic. So that's when I sent him my original Alpha Beast prototype. I said, make that look like that, and I still haven't gotten that back yet. That's actually next week makes a year. So hopefully I'll get that back at some point soon. But the work that he did on my Caladins, I could not be happier. I think he did a fantastic job. And I've had a lot of requests from people on the ones that sold out, like the polished ones. Everybody wanted a polished one. And I might actually contract with him to make a couple of more. Okay. Except this time, I think I'm going to have him do the 2-tone blade, because he did a 2-tone blade on the green. There was a green anodized one, and he did like a or horizontal finish on the flats. I don't want to call it a hand rub because it doesn't look like a hand rub, but it had a nice 2-tone finish on the blade. And I think that would look really good on the polished one as well.
Absolutely. I first encountered him when I watched the Dr. Franke videos, when he was doing mods for him on some ZTs and stuff. And the first thing that stood out to me was the tone of greens he was getting. You could almost get like a turquoise but bright iridescent green.
Yep.
And then so when I talked to him, at that time I was a little bit knife prejudice against Chinese knives. I was open-minded. I had a couple, but it was one of those features that was a turnoff, so the knife had to be good for me to want to buy it. And so I asked him, who's making those Omens for you? And at the time it was Wee Knives. I was like, shit.
Yeah, the original was Wee Knives,
Yeah. And then so I'm like, fuck it. I really love the way that thing looks, and it's got a cool name, so let's do it. So then I start picking his things where you can kind of satin the flat of the frame, and then I did green on the insides. But what really blew me away is he was the first one I ever seen to make Zerkatai green. And so he gave me a clip, and Zerkatai green clip, on my last Omen. And I thought that was just so cool. Like the green colors that he produced out of that thing that's usually the hardest color to accomplish. So
green is the trickiest because it's very easy to bypass it and then ruin the material. Yep.
Right. So tips off to working with him, man. That guy's good.
Yeah, he is.
Thomas had a good comment earlier. You know, he'd rather watch a review where there is an objective view, look at the knife, good and bad things called out. All knives can't all be good.
Yeah, that's
which
true.
I think you've come to the right group. I think the three of us talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. We try to stay away from the ugly, but if it's really ugly, I think I've talked about that before.
We just won't review them.
Yeah, there's been a couple that I haven't really reviewed. I mean, I try to review everything and not just the things I like, because just because I don't like it doesn't mean you won't like it. So
yeah, and I do the same thing. I always think about the viewers and go, okay, this isn't my cup of tea, but I think there's a lot of other people that have an interest that may be Googling it to figure out if they want to buy it or not, or just get a good 360-degree look at it. So I'll do that. But if it's something that's rife with issues, it generally is not going to get shown. I'm gonna look at it and go, there's no way. I'm not going to waste my time. I'm not going to waste the viewers' time to mess with that. Today was one of those rare exceptions where I went ahead, and even though I knew the knife was not up to prime time, I felt it was important to get the video out there because so many people were hyping that model, not that specific variation, because it's too new, but that model, everybody they were losing their minds over it. So if you go to Google it or you go on YouTube and search it, you'll see probably 30 videos, and everybody is praising at the altar of the what, pyrite? Is that what it was? Yeah, the pyrite.
The pyrite, CJRB pyrite.
And it was one of the most underwhelming experiences that I've ever had with a knife. And I hear people say that like about Hinderer XMs and stuff, and it's like there are so many things to love about a Hinderer XM or a Sebenza, where some people go, "Oh, I was underwhelmed with it." Well, you started at one level,
right?
With, maybe you bought a Lee Williams Iceman kickstop or something. Then you graduated to Stan Wilson and Todd Begg, and then you went and bought a Hinderer and went, "Oh, I was underwhelmed." I can understand.
Okay, yeah, I get that. That's a valid point then.
But this was just that the knife overall, the way that it was made was underwhelming. The design, everything about it was underwhelming. There was nothing phenomenally creative about it. There was nothing standout, in my opinion. But I was very clear to mention that I understand why a lot of people that reviewed the steel frame versions and the G10 versions, they were excited because those were $45, $50. And if you're looking at $50 knives, it doesn't take a lot for you it doesn't need a lot for you to go, wow, this has actually got a lot going on. This is really worth it because it's $50. You're comparing it against other $50 knives. Correct. It probably is going to be great. But this one with the Damascus blade is $120. Oh, yeah. No, and they ruined the finish, and the action was mediocre at best. So
am I, CPM. I think the three of us own things from, the $50 range to the $5,000 range, and
well, I was telling Dirk,
so
yeah,
we're all over the place too, man. You're in good company.
I was telling Dirk recently, I've just been going back to production knives lately. Like I bought 3 Emersons this month. I never buy those, but I just, I bought an Elvia. It's the knife I always say looks like a broken stop pin happened.
I don't get that whole thing. Yeah,
I love it.
It's in a weird way.
That knife
backwards.
I bought it because I'm a huge fan of Ed Calderon. So it's kind of more of like a fanboy of his, and the story behind it, like when you hear it in podcasts non-related to knives, is actually pretty cool. But so it was more of that. Plus, it's a super LBS, so I think I could flip it for some cash later because it's a special edition.
So it comes with a cape.
Yes.
Sorry, exactly. I've always got dad jokes.
Yeah, I love that. So, but you talked about oh my God, you talked about a Sebenza. Awesome. That is still a knife, that I've had since 2015. That I think the Sebenza is still super underappreciated. But like the stuff that Jim's holding now, that's super.
This is obnoxious and stupid and crazy.
Super techno Viking.
It is.
It screams Beard of Doom, actually.
Yes,
he is so excited for this thing, and I get so many messages from him going, "Dude, when are you going to get that Hellfire made?" I'm working on it.
Man.
They've already started cutting parts for the prototype.
Cool.
I got pictures from the factory. I got a text message because we've been back and forth on it a lot. I am changing the manufacturer. I'm moving away from Best Tech on that. I'm going to stick with Tuya because Tuya did such a bang up job on the Kaladins. I know they're going to nail this. And I started discussing it with him on one day. 2 days later, I get a text message with pictures of the blade and the frame, and he's already got it assembled with a pivot and everything, just to kind of get an idea of the size, because he's like, "Are you sure you want to go that large?" I'm like, "Yes, this is meant to be obnoxious and ridiculous and over the top." That's why I did the Caladan before I did anything else, because I wanted a classic knife out there with my name on it before I started doing ridiculous things. And this is absolutely ridiculous. This is not a practical knife. So this is the 4-inch version. There's going to be a 4-inch, and then there's going to be a 3.5-inch, and we'll constrain the proportions so when it shrinks down in length, it'll shrink down in height as well, so it won't look stubby. So, because I honestly think that there's going to be a bigger market for the 3.5, but when I put up that little poll on Instagram, so many people went, "Nope. If it's going to be as ridiculous as it is, it needs to be over the top. It needs to be the big size." So, and I think even you would mention
3.5. I like oversized, chunky stuff. Like little, smaller, overbuilt, chunky knives are cool.
There's a lot of space being taken up in the pocket when it's this tall. So,
right.
We'll see. We'll see how it pans out. I may be off on it. I don't know.
I know how that goes. I've carried the Peacemaker in my pocket.
Yes, you have.
That's a chore.
And I carry something else in my pocket that weighs me down all the time. So, I get it.
Oh, geez. CPM wants to know if you can make a 5-inch one, Jim.
The 5-inch is going to be in the ring guard fixed blade.
Perfect.
That's what she said.
Because honestly, the handle would be so massive in length and in height.
Yeah, I think a fixed blade would be great. So you got a 5-inch fixed.
Does that have a front flipper on it, Jim?
3.5.
No, what you're seeing, Doom actually asked the same question. You're seeing the thumb ramp for when the blade is open. You will never, ever see a design of mine with a front flipper. It's never going to happen.
I just, had to say something because it kind of looks
never say never, man.
You were hoping that you caught me on that. When
could you imagine a 4-inch with a front flipper?
Oh my god! Because the detail
I'd hurt my thumb.
So strong on this weight of blade that
that'd be ridiculous.
Be a skin ripper.
Yeah, that it just wouldn't work.
I will say this though, as much as I thoroughly despise front flippers, when I carry my TW Price Dawn, the V2,
yes,
I will fidget with it every now and then as a front flipper because he has it so dialed in.
Oh boy.
It is the right size for the front flipper extension. It's the right jipping. It's the right detent.
All right, we're going to have to kick Jim off the stream now. He's become a front flipper douche guy. So, all right, well.
That's how I feel
about the great being friends with you, Jim, but I think,
it's never going to be a preference. Yeah, it'll never be a preference.
That's how I feel about the Trevor Burgers. All the Trevor Burger knives are the perfect front flippers. I always said that's like my standard for a front flipper.
And he makes such a beautiful knife.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I wish they weren't front flippers. I won't drop any names, but there's one particular custom that I've been working on the maker now for 5 years. He only makes front flippers, and the knife that I want, I talked to him 5 years ago, and about once a year we talk about it again. And he's like, I haven't forgotten. I'm going to make your standard flipper version of this knife. And it's probably going to make some people angry.
Yes, it will.
It is a front flipper. That's all it's known to be.
Yes.
But I'm like, the knife is so gorgeous. It's so well done. I won't buy a front flipper. I won't do it. And he understands.
Philippe Georget?
What's that?
Is it a Philippe Georget?
No, but I'm not going to say yes or no to any other names because I don't want to give it away. Because if I had given it away years ago, if I had mentioned it at some point, and I'm here now 5 years later and still don't have it,
right,
it makes them look bad, and I don't want to do that. So,
agreed. Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, front flipper is not my thing either. If that's an option, like it has multiple deployments and front flipper is one of them, yeah, okay, I can deal with that. But front flipper onlys, the only ones that I really liked were the 520 and the 523. Those Philippe George. I
and
did
again,
like
beautiful knives.
Beautiful knives. I owned them both for a little while, but I couldn't get over the front flipper thing as the only way. It just wasn't my thing.
That's the model of the Callaghan I wanted.
What are the knives that are exciting you the most right now, that you're carrying the most often, that you reach for to fidget and play with or open boxes? What are you seriously addicted to currently as of right now?
Dirk, you can go first.
I have not been able to get this battle out of my pocket since I got it from my friend Tim in Canada.
That is incredible.
I haven't been able to. Like, I've carried this, I think, almost every day since I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like the beater battle, I guess, in my collection now. I don't know. I love it. But something I did
beater battle, it just doesn't sound right.
Kind of excited today, actually, of this Migaron Moya or something. It's a $50 knife.
That's pretty nice.
14C whatever, with G10 titanium pocket clip, and it's for a budget $50 knife, like we were talking about a little bit ago. You can't really go wrong. And it's, if I can reverse flick it, which I hate also as much as front flipping, well, then anybody can. I don't know, for $47 or whatever.
Wow.
How can you go wrong?
Yeah, it looks nice. It's got a nice overall shape to it.
Yeah, it is. I just filmed it today, so that'll be coming out in a little bit, but yeah, it's just, I don't know. G10, nothing fancy, steel liners, but it just works and it's super smooth. So, I'm more into the custom stuff. I don't carry really, I not to be snobby, but I just don't carry production stuff.
Well, I'm in the same boat as Alex. I've gone for so many years only buying and collecting customs. And the world has changed so much in the past 2 years. Mm-hmm. in every possible way. But in the world of knives, there are so many premium made production knives.
There are.
And done with some very, very creative material choices and finish options that it's hard to say no. I mean, like the Winter Blade Factor and the Brian Brown Jaeger M. There are so many. Just quick little thing about that, because it's in my head.
Yeah.
I was finally able to score the Jaeger M of my dreams 2 days ago.
Wow.
Because ever since I had gotten the Plain Jane, which I still love.
Yeah.
I was chasing the Sunset Orange since it came out. And I never could get one, and never could pry one loose from anybody. And a buddy of mine put one up for sale, and I went, I'll take it. Absolutely no way around it. So that should be here Wednesday or Thursday.
Nice.
There'll be a video on that. But there are so many absolutely gorgeous knives that are made so well that we can now get into in that $300 to $600 price range. That I find that it was hard to maintain the collection that I had, which was only buying custom knives. There were so many wonderful choices. I felt like I was missing out. Even when Microtech was dropping some really, really cool stuff for a while there, I was like, no, I don't want a production knife. And it was really hard to maintain that. And I'm glad that I finally broke down and got back into them.
Right.
EMP EDC was one that helped push me in that direction. Well, I still can't get over how much I love the Nimble. It's still, when I want to carry a really compact knife, that's still one of my go-tos. If I'm wearing shorts or pants that aren't denim, that don't have a lot of weight to them, I'll usually carry the Nimble because it's just that good.
Yeah, Stacy says we're in the golden age of knives. You're right. Like we
kind of are.
Have kind of shifted, and I agree. There are some great production stuff out there right now. I'm just broke now because I bought all these customs, and I might have maybe bought something yesterday, but we won't really get into that.
No, but I saw you bidding on it, but you did definitely get outbid.
No, I didn't. I just.
Oh, you went back and bid again?
Yes, I bought something.
Yep. He got it. That's all I'm going to say.
I did.
He got it.
You did. You suck.
I did. I win.
He got it.
I won.
And there was 2 people behind him all freaking day poking at him like, it freaking belongs in that collection. It freaking belongs in that collection. You better damn get it. Like 2 of us, me and
Alex
Chris.
and my other buddy Chris, not Tie Addiction Chris, but different Chris. Those 2 guys were in my ear all day long during that auction. And about 30 minutes before I placed one more bid, thinking I was going to get outbid.
Wow.
Kind of just trying to keep it going, right?
Yeah. I'm really glad that you got it. I did
not
get outbid. I got
a little critical about that knife, though. I did get a little critical about something about it because the Frank Fisher battle is curvier in the blade, much curvier in the blade. It's got more of a much deeper recurve. I think it's got more of a curve. So to me, it's a beautiful battle, but to me, I could instantly visually see it's not a Frank built knife.
We're gonna see in a few days when it gets
here. Put it side by side and let's see, because I didn't notice that myself. But
I noticed it initially, like in the previews, but then once he was finished and it was etched and everything, that was less noticeable to me. So that's one of the reasons I bought it, so that I could compare.
And I still think it's gorgeous, and I still think it's made by the master. And it's just a different knife.
Yes.
And that's why I think it belongs in Dirk's collection, because it just goes with the other one he's got like so perfectly.
Yeah, right.
And I gotta say,
I said, I'll be sending an invoice for your portion and Chris's portion for egging me on. It's going to cost you guys a little bit. We're not going to go thirds, but it's going to cost you a little bit.
The part where I was really nervous about execution, because I never thought anybody else but Frank could pull it off quite, not even close. Even Senior was going to be the pivot, right? The pivot was very crucial on a battle.
And it turned out perfect.
Pivot. He nailed the pivot, man. I looked at it, I'm like, wow.
So since we're talking about it, for those of you that are sitting there in the comments thinking, what the hell are these 3 talking about? Todd Fisher Sr. made a prototype battle, which is this knife that I showed earlier that Frank, his son, usually makes. He made one himself. It's super fancy, and it went for auction yesterday, and I was the winning bidder of the auction. So that's
all rooting for you. I'm glad you got it.
But before this time, I don't think anybody else has made a battle except for Frank, right? Like this is the first.
Frank made them all solo, and then when he brought his brother in partnership, they worked on a couple together.
Yes.
But Frank did all of the fundamentals. The locks are his, the detent is his, the grinding, the edge. And then TJ would help him with different things. At least that's the way I understood it. I could be.
That's my understanding as well.
Yeah. And now with Dad doing it, I got to tell you, I'm amazed at how the whole thing came out. I expected it to be great, and he had texted me the day before, and he was showing it to me before he etched it and everything. I'm like, man, that thing is going to be super, super sexy. And then we talked on the phone for a little bit, and Todd's not the kind of guy that gets very emotional and very excited about things.
Yep.
He's a very even keel kind of guy, very low key. And you could hear in his voice that he had a sense of pride for carrying this over. Because like you said in his post, it was developed when Frank was on his computer in his shop, programming the CAD for his CNC.
Yep.
So he
like
was
10 years ago, right?
around
Yeah,
all that
10 years ago.
development. Yeah, just somewhere around there. Yeah.
Yeah, 2013. Yeah, thanks, guys. I appreciate the support here. Yeah, and I've been honestly, Frank, Senior and I have been talking all week too about this thing. So, and yeah. So
Well,
it just made sense.
The Fisher collector is definitely Dirk has definitely become one of the significant ones. You got some nice ones, that's for sure.
I'm absolutely fiscally irresponsible. That's all there is to it. Nothing
you
else
blew
to
your Blade show wad already. It's gone. That's it.
Yeah, I'm not going to Blade. I wasn't planning to go to Blade anyway. So I'm
that's
certainly
way
not
cooler
going
than
now.
Blade for me.
And I'm certainly probably not buying another knife in 2023.
Well, you bought my Galleon. You bought that battle.
Got the Galleon here, and I got this battle here.
Yeah,
and I've got this RJ Shiro this year.
That's right.
And and the Frank Fisher Fury this year. Mm-hmm. So these two alone, I bought like at the end of December, but I waited until January to pay for them so that I bought them this year. I'm done. I'm done. Let's not even do the math. Those of you that are trying to do the math, don't do the math.
It's a lot.
You don't want to know.
That's a 1988 Honda on his desk right there.
Yes. Yeah, you don't want to know. And you can go and search Instagram auction tomorrow if you really want to find out what I paid for the other battle. But just don't go. Just
don't rub it in. Yeah, don't rub it in.
Don't go there. You guys will see it when I get it soon. I don't know. I'm going to be going out of town on the 4th through the 7th. So I got to talk to Todd about if he's going to ship it, tomorrow. Like, I may get it before I leave, or I told him just to hold it until after, so I don't want it to show up while I'm gone type of thing.
Speaking of traveling, are you two still coming out here to visit me?
We'll do that at some point.
Well, I'm broke now.
I'm broke too for a little bit.
Yeah, you ain't doing shit.
I wasn't even planning to go on this other trip here on the 4th, but I have a dear friend who has cancer. And so I am going to visit before it's too late type of visit. So that's my trip here in a few days, in a week or so, is to go visit her. It just, it hit really hard last July, and it's almost, So we won't go there, but that was unplanned.
Well, that's sad to hear.
Yeah. And my wife has just gone part-time. So I am now carrying more weight.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so I'm.
But yes, I do need to get out there to Delaware at some point. So it will happen.
But I am going to go. I have family in New Jersey I've been meaning to go visit too. Like, that would be a good time to
Oh, yeah, you're right next door at that point. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, believe me, there is absolutely nothing exciting about Delaware. I wish I could have had you guys out when I was living in Texas all those years, but there is nothing exciting about Lower Delaware. However, we do have beaches. And I have my nice big studio and everything now. So I've got my photography area. I've got my video area, which is better than what I had before because I was using 2 different bedrooms in the Texas house. I had my video room and I had my photography room. And finally, I'm able to put it all together in one room. It's actually really, really nice. So
nice.
We would have the room to sit here and actually have 3 people on a podcast. I think would work really, really well.
I don't know what happened there, but I'm back.
That would be fun.
Yeah, so I think we should plan something. I don't know when, but my son lives in Delaware, so.
Oh, okay.
And all of Delaware, the whole state is like 20 minutes across. So he's
I wish that was the case. Everything it's funny. The biggest adjustment I'm having to Delaware is the driving. Even when it's out of season and we don't have a bunch of tourists here for the beaches, the biggest you'll go to type in something in your navigation, it'll tell you your destination is 5 miles away, and then it estimates your time. That 5 miles will take you 20 minutes. And I'm not used to I'm used to Texas roads. We have 70, 75, 80 mile an hour speed limits.
So it's like California traffic.
It's like where I live in Los Angeles.
Well, it's not just the traffic; it's farm roads, so it's 2-lane roads.
Oh yeah,
and you'll get about 8 seconds of passing room every 10 miles, and everybody drives under the speed limit. Speed limits are all low. Most of them are 30, 35, 40 miles an hour. And there are no freeways here. There's I-95, but you've got to drive way out to get to 95. And that's if you're going to go up into New York and Jersey and all that stuff. But I don't really have a need to do that very much. So yeah, it's frustrating. You just can't move. You can't get anywhere. I've always been the kind of person, if I'm getting in a car to go somewhere, it's my objective to get there as quickly and safely as possible. And when everybody wants to go 10 under the speed limit and the speed limit's 35, you're pulling your hair out.
You can see him sitting in his Hemi like, son of a bitch. And there's a tractor in front of him.
There would be no reason. There are a lot of people here that have collector cars because there's always big car shows out at the beach and stuff. You'll see guys out there with like vintage Shelbys and shit. And I'm like, what a waste to have a powerful vehicle here, because state troopers are everywhere. Speed limits are low. Nobody's driving. And I've never seen worse drivers in my entire life. They will come straight into your lane head on. And you're panicking, trying to figure out what you're going to do. They just
you're like, my car is bright green, asshole. How can you miss it?
Right.
No, I don't have the Hellcat anymore. I got rid of the Hellcat before we moved. A while before we moved.
That was a pretty car.
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was obnoxious. It was crazy. It was a lot of fun. But the problem was, and I made that video about 8 years ago, once Dodge had announced that they were going to create the Demon, it was going to be so much more limited and so much more powerful. It instantly devalued all of our Hellcats, because I had a 15. I had the very first Hellcats that came out was in 15. I had one of the very first ones.
But
so it was a big investment.
Much more streetable, though. The Hellcat was a much more streetable car.
It was, well, now, but they've continued. You know, now you've got the red eye, the red eye wide body, and now they just released a new one, and I'm blanking on the name of it right now. It's sad that I forgot what it was, but it's using the Elephant motor, so it's got 1,000 horsepower out of the box, and it's using a lot of the stuff that the Demon had to cool it, to keep it cool and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, Dodge has the worst habit of devaluing their own product. You can't ever buy a Dodge product and hope that it's going to hold any sort of value. And I've learned that over the years because I've owned so many. I bought a lot of SRT8s, and then obviously got into the Hellcat and stuff. And the values tank. And if they don't tank organically, Dodge will do something to make them tank. Because we were told, because like in 2015, when mine was made, they were only going to make 3,000, period. That was it. And each dealership got their allotment. And I got very lucky to get one. A lot of people paid 20 grand over sticker and higher. I didn't. I paid just a tiny fraction over sticker. And so we figured, okay, it's going to be somewhat collectible. Now, mine, in the configuration that I had, was one of only 300. So I'm like, okay, this is probably a decent investment. When I had my GT 500, that was the one and only car I've ever bought that I made money on when I sold it. So I figured this will be a repeat of the Shelby. I'll do good financially on this in the end. I'll enjoy it for a couple of years and I'll sell it. Nope. They wrecked the value. They instantly wrecked the value. So
bummer.
I'll probably never buy another Dodge product ever again. I never had any reliability issues with it, nor with really any of my Dodges. They have a bad reputation, and I understand why. I've always had good luck with them. But I've never been brand loyal in cars or motorcycles or anything. I buy what I like. I buy what suits my needs and that I can justify the expense and find some sort of value in. But yeah, I doubt I'm ever going to go back to another Chrysler Dodge product ever again.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because they make some pretty cool things from time to time. So what are you going to do?
I agree. I still have my 98 SVT Cobra, but it's just sitting there, for a few years. So I got to get it all fluid changed and get it back on the road a little bit here soon on out. And I have a WRX of 2017 with some little stuff done to it. I want to run it on E85 because you make a lot of good power out of that.
Yeah.
But it's like you said, here in LA, you know, I can get to the next red light really quick, but that's about it.
Yeah, you got
and there's cops everywhere, and they're all about entrapment here. Like they're all trying to catch you. Although what's interesting is like I live off a couple busy freeways, like the 91 and the 710. And when I'm bombing down the 91 sometimes on a Saturday to work, like my phone will say speed trap ahead, my iPhone. I didn't even know that. And
you're not using Waze, you're just using your maps.
Just my maps, just to see like what my ETA is going to be when I get there, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, in case this thing's right, I'm going to slow down. And fucking 2 miles later, there he is.
Wow. I've never had
holy
that.
Shit, that's weird.
I have not seen that either.
Yeah, I did not like turn that on.
Interesting.
I didn't turn that on. That was just on the just the standard iPhone maps, you know.
Got it. So
I'll have to look for that setting.
CPM asks Alex, are you going to get the Olenkov Quantum?
No, I'm not. I've got a couple customs. One just like Jim, actually, that's been in process literally 5 years. It's pretty close to done. I got a couple things I'm finishing up, but I'm kind of done with customs for a while. I'm not really looking at new stuff. As a matter of fact, unlike a lot of other people, I've been looking at old stuff, like old ZTs. I still like maybe looking into getting old mud, like a Grant and Gavin Hawk mud. A couple knives on my list that like I haven't gotten yet that I want to get. Like, so
because you're
I'm
broke,
kind of
because
looking more.
You're broke.
No,
because
those are not cheap knives.
The John Wick, the John Wick 4 bundle from Hawk.
Oh yeah, the 25 grand one where you get the shotgun, you get both Terran Tactical Vipers,
Terran Tactical, yep,
you get
and
the
a Hawk,
coin, and you get a Grant and Gavin Hawk, Model C.
Wait, so it's got the Pit Viper and the Sand Viper in it?
Yes, and the shotgun,
and the shotgun,
deadlock, and some coins, and
so
a
25 grand
case. 25
is not
grand.
bad.
It's actually not a bad deal.
Yeah, because the Sand Viper is $7 grand. The Pit Viper is $6 grand.
Yep.
The shotgun, I don't know. I've never priced it out.
I don't know that. I'd call it 4, 3.
Yeah, that's
the knife. Call it $2 grand.
And the knife is $2 grand. So you're at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 14. You're at 15, 18.
Plus
just
the case.
Plus a case for another grand.
And the John Wick name.
Like, yeah, dude, 25 is...
I think it's
not bad for a cool kit.
Yeah, it sounds pretty cool.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, oh, I remember when the first Continental kits came out with Microtech. They were super cool too. I've always been after the first one because it had the Troodon and Dagger, and it had an Ultratech, a really basic one in Vapor Blast, and it looks so simple and beautiful. And I actually found the Ultratech that matches the set. It was sold as a single, like Marfion custom.
Yep.
So I have that one, but I really want that box set, which is probably more like $5 grand now, easy.
Yeah, and it had like 1 or 2 coins and a number 2 pencil.
And the pencil, yeah.
My buddy had it. Like my buddy bought, I think 2 buddies bought the kits serial, and they actually ended up with serial number like right back to back next to each other.
Oh, that's
so that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I've yet to see the 4th movie, but I'm kind of excited.
I just watched it yesterday for the first time. I didn't have time to go to the theater and see it, so they just dropped it on Amazon Prime, I think is what I watched it on.
Okay, yeah,
and it was really good. There was something about it though as I was watching it that I don't know why, but I didn't enjoy it as much. There were just certain weird aspects that you couldn't really put your finger on. I will say this, so that it doesn't give away any spoilers. They did go a little bit overboard on the superhuman shit. I can't count how many times he got hit by a car in this one movie. He gets hit by a car in every movie.
Yeah.
and somehow walks away. No broken knee, no torn ACL, no nothing. But this time he gets hit by a lot of cars.
Yes.
And he gets right the hell back up.
And everybody had a bulletproof suit.
Was there
No, there was only one other person, I think. There was a really big guy with a crew cut with shaved head. He had one of the Kevlar suits.
They overplayed. I think they overplayed the Kevlar suits in this movie, but
I mean, enjoyed it. Every time you saw him, he's doing this.
Yes, I still enjoy it. That's not realistic, guys. Like holding your suit like that. Come on,
it could happen.
It's not realistic, but it's in context with the movie, so I'm okay with that.
I'm fine with the suspension of belief on most of the stuff in those movies. I've enjoyed all of them, and I still really enjoyed this one. It was really, really good.
I did, yes.
There was just a little bit that was lacking, and I really still don't know what it was.
Mm-hmm.
His acting fell off a little bit on this one. Really, I think for the majority of the movie, his dialogue was
yes. It was one word
replies to almost everything was yeah. And I know that's a Keanu thing, but they really did it too much in this one particular.
He got a little too lax.
Yeah, it was a little different than the other three for sure. I still enjoyed it, but it was noticeably different. I also did go, since we were talking about cars, and see Fast and Furious 10 over last weekend.
Oh, God.
Please tell me it was better than 9.
It's good.
He's like, what's better?
If 9 is almost unwatchable.
If you're a fan of the franchise, which I am, whatever, it was absolutely enjoyable. It was
that whole franchise has been a guilty pleasure for me. I've always enjoyed every movie, as dumb as it were.
Everybody in the knife community is going to get excited because Jason Momoa, has the Black Snow Customs in there. So a lot
which
of
doesn't get as much airtime as the other knife. And again, I'm drawing a blank on the other custom that he had, which got more airtime towards the end.
Really?
Yeah, the Black
He's
Snow.
Got a few Black Snows.
It got some time. He kind of killed somebody and then licked the blood off.
He said a sabotage and an opiate. If he says sabotage and opiate, those are both Nadi's knives.
Yeah, no, he I don't think it was opiate. It was a sabotage at the beginning with the blood.
Yeah.
And then there was a different knife at the end that almost looked like a Sharknivko Ryu, but it was not. But it was similar to that with like Westinghouse micarta scales, if I recall, and I can't remember the name of it to save my life.
Well, Dirk, answer this for me. Can you recall even seeing the Deadlock Model C in John Wick? Because I was looking and I never saw it.
No.
I saw it.
It supposedly was there, and I think somebody grabbed like a screenshot or something of it, but no, you didn't see it.
I never saw it.
The pencil got more action, guys. The pencil got more action.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny because somebody did actually have a pencil on them. I won't say who it was. I don't want to give it.
Oh, maybe CPM is right. When he did the sabotage, he did have 2 knives. So maybe it was a sabotage that he killed the dude with and an opiate in the other hand. And then later in the movie, it was a single knife that I believe he turned and he threw. It was towards the end on the bridge.
Licked it or something. He licked the blood off of. He licked the blood off.
Yeah, he licked the blood off of the sabotage after he killed the dude over here. I was like, Jason Momoa plays an interesting part in this movie.
How unsanitary.
Yeah, it was interesting. What's Detroit's? Dirk's giving Wilson a lesson on how to grow and groom a beard. No, I'm just trying to be like Jim. So I figured I'd let the sides.
You got to start dyeing your beard then.
But yeah, I don't know that I'm a dye my beard type of guy.
I prefer the two-tone look. When I do it all gray, it doesn't look quite right. It looks like a dirty gray. Because I've gotten past the salt and pepper stage. Yeah. Now it just looks like a dirty gray, so I dye the sides of it.
Yeah, I'm going to shave the sides.
Pepper stage.
The sides will get shaved? Shaven? I don't know. They're going to get cut shortly because when I was out on vacation, I just didn't shave. I mean, I shaved my head, but I didn't shave my face. And so I just let it grow when I came back. The girlfriend kind of liked it, so I left it.
Well, that's funny because typically I'll just shave my balls and I won't shave my face. And yeah, that works out well.
My balls get shaved more often than my face, too.
So anyway, yeah, CPM says the Dama Steel is delicious. Yeah, okay. So
you guys asked me a question earlier, by the way, that I didn't answer.
Yeah, what do you find exciting, and
what are you into right now?
And you are into what are you into
besides feet?
Kind of went off topic.
Feet. I do love feet. The 520 that I got from CKF, that one with the zircotai
and the milled carbon fiber and the fancy bolster and Dama Steel blade.
Yeah, no, it's got a hand rub satin.
Oh, hand rub satin, but it's got like titanium or Zirc.
Yeah, here it is.
Damascus.
Show it. I really like carrying this thing because I like the size and the overall profile. This is a really nice knife.
It's a really nice combo of material.
Dressy.
Yeah,
right.
It's dressy without being
carbon fiber.
Right. So for me, this is one I've been carrying a lot. Another one that I've been carrying a lot too is the JG Scout. I don't know if I have that one handy here, but if I still have my little, oh yeah, look at that, lucky me. This thing I carry really, 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 really often.
The Scout is an awesome knife, and I'm glad that you lent me that because I had not seen one before. It's really a great package. It's a good size. It's easy to carry, and just a lovely
it's
knife.
Made with finesse. It is got so much finesse behind it, and I like his little tungsten insert on the lock, like all the cool little things. And it's funny because this has those plastic washers, those nylon washers, and it's just so smooth. Like it operates like it's on bearings. It's really quite incredible. So
Detroit likes that one. It's from South Africa, Detroit.
Yep. And it's a 2019 model, so it's got all his little upgrades. So it's one of the kind of sought after ones.
That is a good looking knife.
Alex needs the new CKF less spec model with zircotai, James says.
You're poking me now, Jim. I've been
poke him. He poked me yesterday and cost me a lot of money. So let's poke him for this.
Well, I want that knife. I'll buy it. It's just the availability of that knife is only to Blade Show, and I'm not going to be there.
I know people that are going. I'm sure I could get somebody to proxy. I proxy for so many people at shows. I guarantee I can get somebody to buy it for you. Maybe. I mean, I can't guarantee that. I can guarantee I can get somebody to try to buy something there. Obviously, there's no guarantees that somebody's going to get to the table and buy something.
I think that knife, honestly, if you're not like running there from the time that it's open, you got the early pass, it'll be gone in seconds.
That's one that's going to go real fast.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm not even going to bother. Yeah.
Okay.
Hopefully something comes on the secondary market. I'll overpay a little bit. Oh, well.
Sometimes that's the easiest way. I don't mind doing that and overpaying a little bit. I'm not into the, hey, I bought it for $800 at the table and I'll sell it to you tomorrow for $3,000. Like, I'm not into that game at all. I tell people to just piss off with that stupid shit. But
if what CPM is saying is true, then I will own one.
Oh yeah, NC Blades. Those guys are great. I've known them since before they had NC Blades, so I love them. They are great guys.
And Dirk knows I've bought like 3 or 4 knives from him recently. I got that custom ProTech Malibu, and then I got 2 CKFs from him recently. The one that you still have, that's the Ablia, and then something else. They have like pretty good deals. I
got a bunch of yours still. I think I have like 3 more to film, and they're the harder ones to film. Because,
like the German one,
like the Shapeshifter. I'm like,
that weird Shapeshifter.
Struggling to film it, and then that.
Well, you're supposed to send that to Jim after you're done with that one.
Oh, am I? Okay, thanks for telling me, because then maybe I can get. Maybe I'll save that one. I'll do the other couple of yours, and I can ship yours back.
That's fine.
And then I'll
whatever,
get
man.
the Shapeshifter and send it to Jim. But the other one that I'm struggling with is the micro stinger from Fair and Forge.
Oh, dude, come on.
Well,
that's an easy one.
Unique and cool. I wanted to do something kind of cool and not my normal video, but I'm struggling to be creative. So
that's cool. No. If you're gonna do some editing or something weird with it, then I'm all for that. Take your time.
Not crazy editing stuff, but just like it's a really small knife. So I wanted to try to maybe play that up a little bit with like Lego figures or something stupid. Like, I don't know. I had all these grand ideas in my head, and I actually took that one to Utah with me on vacation, and I never took it out to go do any filming or pictures with it. I don't know.
Did you ever figure out how to flip it?
Nope, it doesn't flip for me.
Yeah, I could flip it. I flipped it pretty good on my video too. It flips pretty good for me.
Loves your editing.
Oh goodness. You know, actually, I've been meaning to like do something about that. Like, I think I'm gonna make the jump from cell phone to computer and actually buy something legit. I think it's time.
Buy a legit computer or buy legit software?
Editing software.
Yeah. I think it's time. So it's just so quick with my finger, you know, like I'm so fast with it. I have all my programs in my different like folders and tabs. So whatever I visualize, I can just grab it. I can screen record. I could do all kinds of stuff and clip stuff pretty quick now. But even then, like just finding like stupid clips to clip into that are appropriate at the time of humor is probably, it's more research time than the actual editing time that really takes time. The making the video an hour. You know.
You use that word appropriate very loosely.
Appropriate for my channel. Yeah, I know. I had Beavis and Butthead in my last one.
I saw that. CPM wants to know if Jim still owns any Q36s.
No, I had 3, and so it's weird. I was just talking to somebody on Instagram in direct message about Q36s. That's really weird. And they were like,
SS.
they don't know where to get a Q36. So I said, hey, what I would suggest is talk to Dave Stark at Steel Addiction, because he used to always be the source for any RJ Martin, because they've been close for a long time, and he usually got everything that RJ made. But
there's another place CPM might remember. I'd have to look in my phone. CPM sent me some links before to another retailer who does a bunch with RJ now.
Okay.
And it's escaping me. CPM, you know who I'm talking about, I think, right? If you're still there.
By the way, if you guys hear mariachi in the background, it's not inside my house. It's in my neighborhood, but it might come through there. So that's part of living in LA, guys.
Yeah, I figured you were just celebrating something.
Oh man,
Les Robertson.
Les Robertson. Yeah.
Yep, I've talked to him about some before. I think they have some that are going to be dropping soon, or maybe I missed that one. I don't remember, but it's Robertson Cutlery, Robertson Custom Cutlery.
Yeah, Robertson's.
Cool. I gotta look into that.
Yeah, it's decent pricing. He's got some other great stuff too, and he'll put up on the website, hey, I'm gonna have 5 of these RJ Martin Q36s or Q36 SSs sometime in whatever, and he lists a month. It's like 3-6 months out.
You know what's funny about the Qs though? Back when I bought mine.
Oh, it's coming in October, so there might still be time. I think there was 5. I didn't get on the list this time because I had other things going. So you may be able to get one. You may not be able to get one right now.
Sorry, I'm laughing at one of the comments. Yeah.
So is
mariachi music kicks ass. Yeah.
We can grow the channel and have more viewers by just having mariachi music every time.
Yeah, man. Knives and mariachi.
We can make that happen.
Yes.
We can make that happen.
Hey, and it's around here, it's not going to get any more authentic. Like, I have live bands up in here at least 2 days a week, playing. So come on down.
So yeah, CPM is a big RJ Martin collector also.
Yes,
and
he is.
Has helped me get into more of them. I have just that one Q36. I have the ZT0600 collaboration. and then I have that Shiro RJ that I just picked up. So that's all I've got right now.
That actually is completely false. I know, because I'm kind of toying with the idea with the sheriff's department right now. So I've been talking to a recruiter. So I do know
for that.
Do I look too old, man? Come on.
I'm just saying they do have an upper age to start the academy.
I could still run like
saying.
With no practice, I could still do about 2.5 miles nonstop. I could still do more than 20 pull-ups. I could still do more than 150 sit-ups. So I'm still okay. I actually, I looked at their standards. I actually exceed their standards already. So I know how to shoot. I got a Marine mentality. I'm just bored, man. I need to go do some exciting shit.
You screwed me at the running. My knee started yelling at me when you said running 2.5 miles. My knee is I can't do that anymore.
The other day, so that was 3 weeks ago. My daughter likes this certain park, and I just kind of I paced it, and I noticed it was 2 miles exactly. So I did a run with 2 miles back, and then halfway back, and literally 23 minutes. It's a little slow for Marine Corps standards, but 23 minutes later, I made it, and I didn't stop. So that was pretty cool.
CPM is right. Go spend $5 grand on a knife. That's exciting.
Well, that's not as exciting as
that does raise your heart rate. Let me tell you.
Nah,
they've done that a number of times.
Especially when you're watching the tracking and it's taking different routes across the country back and forth for no apparent reason.
Yeah,
get your heart rate going.
Oh, dude, that's the worst. Is when you see that stuff tracking, on any knife, really, coming from LA, Southern California to Northern California, and all of a sudden you check the tracking and it's in Texas, and then you check it and it's in in Ohio, and you're like, WTF, guys? I could have driven here faster.
Oh, I can do it. Mark. But I'm not going to. I can do 20 pull-ups, no problem. Yeah. Not every day, though.
All right, so what does Jim find exciting these days?
Oh, and I do like the Caladan.
Good. See, there. That's what I wanted to hear.
I just haven't had it in my possession in a while, because
I've got to send it back. I'm sorry.
And I think it's cool that I have the orange one, because when you really look at the movie Dune, that's the entire movie color that you see.
That's the color of the spice.
Yep.
It actually goes pretty well with this flashlight that Chris sent me, or Cliff sent.
That is pretty cool, actually.
Kind of a cool little
thing.
Yeah, I carried my orange one yesterday, actually. And it's funny because I only made the orange and bead blast and the silver twill because that's what I wanted for me.
Mm-hmm.
I had no clue that people were going to enjoy the silver twill as much as I did. And that ended up being the #1 seller. Went way, way, way too fast.
Yeah.
And they sold out before Metal Complex ever did his video on it. Because I'm like, that's a pretty obscure combination that people really don't offer very often anymore. But it's always been one that I loved. So that's why I chose that for him. And so, of course, by the time he gets it, and then he's able to schedule and make a video for it, they were already gone. So I started getting a flood of emails or messages. And I'm like, no, I'm sorry. Those are 100% gone. But I've got, at that time, I still had the purple. The purple, I think, the purple was the third to go. The second to go was the copper infused carbon fiber.
Well, the purple's the one. The purple's the one that I wanted. That purple and blue.
Yeah,
because I had to give up mine. I gave up my silver twill because I accidentally oversold by one. So I sent my silver twill to a customer, and then I sent my purple to a customer because he had messaged me and said, oh, hey, I think I want to get one of these, but he never followed through.
Yeah.
So they sold out, and then he came back, and I could tell just by our interactions that he may have been overly disappointed if I would have told him, no, they're all gone. So I just gave up my purple to him.
Yeah.
And then I had a customer that he had a slight issue with this one, and I took care of it. When I got it in, I fixed it myself, and I'm like, you know what? I'm keeping a damn purple for myself. I don't care.
Okay.
Because I love the purple. It looks so good.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm kind of a purple freak. I love purple on a knife.
I do. My first interface, the standard interface, is purplish and accented. So that one's cool, and then the other one is blue and Timascus. But yeah, I do like purple on knives. That's great.
I have a cool purple modded PM2.
Yes.
I like that one. The carbon fiber looks awesome on that thing.
And that's the Tonto bladed one, right?
Yeah, the M4 one. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that was a cool one. I like that one.
Yeah, that purple to blue shift really gets me. It's such a good job on that.
Mm-hmm.
So
purple
good.
Is punk rock.
But what it was funny about the orange Caladans, when I chose my variations, I had wanted an entirely bead blasted knife, blade, bolsters, everything with the orange. And then when I got the shipment in and I started opening up all the cases and inspecting everything, the first probably 20 orange that I came across were all hand rubbed satin blades. I was like, it looks good, but it's not what I had in my head that I wanted. So it was only when I dug deeper into the box that I finally found that some of them did have the bead blasted blades. Yeah, so that's what I grabbed for myself.
Yeah, the bead blasted and the orange, that's the way to go.
Yeah, there's something about that matte gray against orange that just looks really, really good. There was somebody that made a comment on one of my videos about the knives that I posted. I think I did a YouTube short. And the guy's like, that's not really all that orange. It's more like peach. And I'm like, all orange G10 is the exact same tone. There's no difference. And you're not doing anything when you're making the knife to change the color of it. It's orange G10 is orange G10. That's it. So
they're probably comparing it to
people
like anodized, aluminum. It's a little bit different shade.
No, they're comparing it to people that Photoshop their fucking pictures.
Well, there's that too.
That up the saturation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
get these big companies and they can afford big marketing firms, like photographers that'll bump saturation levels and all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
We do it on IG all the time too. Yeah, we do it on IG. We do that all the time. You can adjust all of that stuff on IG.
I never use filters. I can't stand it. It irks me.
I don't. All I do, and everybody always asks how I take the picture. I use my freaking iPhone, and I turn the exposure down so that my black background is really black, and the knife kind of pops out. That's all I do.
I enhance the pictures if the picture looks duller than what I think it looks like in real person. And then I'll also try to I will do a lot of contrast because I like really showing the shadows behind the blade versus the parts with the bright light on it. Yeah. So for me, it's more like a little artistic thing to play, but I like to edit, so it's my thing. So
I don't really like editing pictures a lot because it takes too long. So what I just do, if I take an iPhone picture, I have my camera settings automatically step down 3 stops for exposure.
Yeah.
And I leave it there.
That's all I do. Exposure.
That's pretty much it. But now my DSLR, I do a little bit, but it's mainly because I've been having issues with my white balance. So I'll go in and correct colors and I may crop something a little bit here and there. But I've always been the kind I want to be through the lens as much as possible and not have to do a lot in post.
Yeah.
So
no, that's way too much work. I mean, I do have a mirrorless camera that I'm using here. So I did step up to that, which wasn't cheap either. But
what are you holding up there? What is that?
It's the CKF Evo.
Evo, yep.
Is that the 2?
This is the 3.
Oh, okay.
I've had 1, 2, and 3, and I think 3 is the best. It's a little bit bigger than 2. So
I love the Evos, but they're like the Evos, the Koenig Ariuses are knives that I love, but I never end up keeping. I've owned them, but I just don't keep them. Like I'm like, eh.
I wish I still had my Style 55 Arius, man. I was stupid to sell that thing. That was a cool knife.
They're cool, but I just didn't like. I owned it for what, a couple of weeks and sold it. It wasn't my thing.
I still kind of think I might add an Arius in my collection at some point, but I'm not racing to do it. And again, lately, like I've been doing a lot more like Emerson's, and I've been playing a lot with like Ed from Red Horse Knife Works. Oh, I just got my first production actually. Yeah. And then I have like 5 of his mid-techs, and I think the War Pig's a custom that are all matching. It's kind of like this stuff I've been doing, and Ed, like I've mentioned in some of my videos, not to be mean, but he's not like known to be the best with the fit and finish always for my stuff anyways. But it's like not for it's for the imperfections of the knives that I actually really enjoy it. It looks like a handmade custom. And then he shocked me with the Ronin, because the Ronin actually turned out perfect. That was one knife that I sent to him. I'm like, I actually sawed my hand with it. I'm like, it's not sharp, Ed. It's a big blunted like edge. And then I'm like, the lock stick is every time, right? Like a pretty significant one. And I'm like, just, take your time with it, make it match the other ones. And I came back sharp as shit, like really scary sharp. He fixed all the bevels. They were all perfectly lined up, and they were actually really thin.
Nice.
I can't make the freaking lock stick for the life of me, and it functions perfectly. And he even got rid of like the little mark that the clip used to have before it was shortened to turn into like a deep carry. But all my other ones, he missed that. But this one, he didn't. So like, I was so impressed with that Ronin. And he keeps telling me, he's like, yeah, I think the next time I make myself a knife, I'm going to make myself a Ronin. He says he really likes that model. It's a cool one.
He's going to make another Ronin. So I had the original Ronin, its first knife. Like I didn't own it, but my buddy Anthony did.
I remember that one.
And so I did the video on that, and Anthony's going to Blade, and him and Ed have been talking. Ed's going to build him a current version Ronin in the same kind of configuration and whatnot of the original Ronin.
That's pretty
cool. That's super exciting. But I told Anthony, I go, dude, do not let him touch that prototype original Ronin. He goes, no. Not doing nothing to that. It's goofy, it's old, it's bulky, it's like, it's not perfect, but it's the first knife ever made. So
and I think it was a flipper too, awesome. Right?
Yeah, it is a flipper.
That's the only Ronin flipper. For those of you who've never seen one.
Yeah, it's a really cool knife. So I'm super excited that Anthony's going to get a current version made to match his prototype one from years and years ago. So
and there's one feature that Ed used to do on a lot of gyms too that that was one of those things I really wanted to have on all of mine, is the polish right underneath the thumb disc.
Yeah.
Like I love that.
It's a cool
That's
look.
So cool. Like that was one thing I'm like, hey, can you make sure they all have that? So he even did it to this one too, which was cool. Yeah.
No, you definitely have a good Red Horse collection of matching models.
Yeah, it's fun, Not like yours though. You got some a lot of those Hellraisers. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, you got my old Black Death Hellraiser. I missed that knife. That was a really, really good knife.
It's pretty cool because Ed is working on finishing another custom Hellraiser right now, and then once that one's done, he's going to build me another custom Hellraiser, and then that's going to be the last custom that he makes of the Hellraiser line.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm going to have the first one, your original one, and the last one. So yeah, I have a problem. It's an OCD thing. It's a irresponsibility thing. I don't know, but that one's going to be probably 2024 because he's way off on that, which is fine. I need to recover from the auction last night anyway.
Yeah, dude, the money you have spent this year on knives is ridiculous. It's great though.
Yep.
It's really great to be able to sit there and look across.
It's ridiculous.
Those investments that you made, and especially with the battles, that they'll do nothing but continue to appreciate. So
you won't lose money on the battles, and I could own it for 3 or 4 years and sell it, and at least get back what I bought it for. Like, so I'm totally fine with that. I don't buy knives as investments, but at the same point, you don't want to buy.
You don't want to knowingly buy something where you
know that on the secondary it's half the price. Like, you don't want to go into buying brand X knowing the secondary is 50% off. Like, you just don't want to do that. So I think I've been as smart as you can be buying knives. CPM, thanks for the support, man. It's better than cash, I guess. Maybe. I mean, I don't know.
Buy some knives as an investment. I like it. Yeah, that's what we always say not to do.
You can't.
Or
like a battle could be an investment. Stan Wilson flipper could be an investment. Some watches, if you can buy the right watch at the right price, they're investments.
Some.
And if nothing else,
for the norm, that's not going to be the case, because you're talking like $30,000 and up.
If you're buying a Patek, you know that you're buying an investment.
Yeah, right. That's it. But you got to buy them at list price.
If you buy a Panerai, you know it's going to tank, right?
Yeah, the Panerais are coming back, but they're not great investments. Rolex, if you buy them at retail, then with the Rolex, depending on which model, you're going to make
IWC is another one.
Well, the thing with Rolex is it's like they're creating their own inflation, because every year they raise their retail. So anybody looking to buy a Rolex has to make a choice. They're going to spend X amount of dollars on a new one, or they're going to buy a used one. And every time the new ones go up, the used ones are going to go up the same rate. So it's a pain in the ass.
It's a game that a lot of people don't want to play. I have my one Rolex. There is another one that I have. I'm probably going to pick up next year. Is the plan, the goal, maybe?
Which one are you looking at?
I'm looking at the two-tone Ever Rose Gold Yachtmaster with the chocolate dial.
Oh, quite fancy.
The chocolate dial and the Ever Rose Gold is
it's gorgeous.
Gorgeous. And the Yachtmaster is one that can just you can wear it all the time. It's not
that's a sport watch. It's a dress watch.
It's just a great watch. So that's probably going to be my next big watch purchase. Another reason why there won't be any more big knife purchases this year is my plan. So yeah, when you get your flipper, Alex.
That's my grail.
After how
it's funny you bring that up, because I remember like begging like a little baby to Jim like 4 or 5 years ago on email or something. Help me get in contact with this guy. I still feel the same way. I still want one. I'd be willing to sell a lot of shit to get one. And that's probably the way it's going to go down. Like, I'm going to have a massive liquidation.
Yeah, I'm sure his prices have gone up substantially. Yeah.
So, but I think at some point that and a rad cleaver is the only two knives I'm really like, those are my grails, I guess, as people describe them.
Well, the rad knives field cleaver, unfortunately, I mean, that's a unicorn now.
Yeah.
There were so few that ever were. Most of them were bought on auction. So a knife that he would have sold for $3,000, the customer paid 12 or 15 grand for, and he no longer makes knives. So that's going to be really, really tough. I hope you're able to find one and at a price that you're comfortable paying, but that's going to be super difficult.
My buddy Eric has a rad cleaver, so when he's ready to sell, I'll see if you can get it hooked up with.
Yeah. The last one that I saw for sale was nice, but it was kind of a plain one with just like a fancy clip and a backspacer. And I think the guy wanted He reached out to me because I made a comment. No, not at all. He wanted $4,200 for it.
And I would have jumped on that just because it was there at that price.
I would have if I had the cash at that time. I just didn't have the cash, or I would have. So, but you know, I will see at some point when I'm ready. That's kind of like the last two knives that at some point, the Stan Wilson non-flipper flipper is probably the one that I will be like more willing to like just liquidate a bunch of crap and just get one.
Because you're getting something really special there and something that you're actually going to carry and use and enjoy. Yep. What are you doing to the screen? Oh, okay. You're pulling up a website. Like, why did we just shift over to the website?
Look at that. Is that real?
What website is this?
It's eKnives. It's Coco and what's his name's shop. Dude, I think wow. Yep. Okay. Wow. Let's have a sale, baby. Let's hope this baby's still there in
dude, four easy payments.
If it's there next week, I get paid on the 6th, I will buy that.
I mean, that's not a bad deal.
Yeah.
You know, there's somebody out there in YouTube land that are watching this and they're like, they're calling a $2,000 knife cheap. Dude, that knife would have cost you over.
I didn't say cheap. I said not bad.
Yeah. Who was that freaking showed me that? Who was that? Was that CPM?
No, that was Luck Knives said that he thought there was one.
Oh, good call, Mikey. Thank you. All right. Shit.
They don't have a non-flipper flipper.
No, that's fine. That I actually want to see if I can somehow. I
wonder if Stan's even making them anymore.
Yeah, that's a good question too.
I haven't seen a new non-flipper flipper in a very, very long time.
And to be
I got
fair,
to see one at the California Custom Show. I got to handle one for the first time.
A new fresh build?
No, it was an older one, but it was a full dress, like over the top crazy one. And it was pretty awesome. I got to say, I dug it.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think that's worthy of a grill.
So for those of you that are not familiar with what a non-flipper flipper is, this is a non-flipper flipper from Stan Wilson.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I think that might have been mine.
That is.
Because when I sold my non-flipper flipper, mine was number 5. I sold it to Michael Donato. So I sold it to, what's the website? Knife Purveyor. So I sold it to Knife Purveyor, and then a customer had bought it. I wonder if that customer then turned around and sold it here at some point.
Dude, a lot of very popular.
This was back in 2017, so this has been there for a while. But
yeah,
for those of you that don't know what it is, so what it is
well, I sold mine in 2014, 2015, I think.
The bolster is the flipper. So right here.
Well, that side is the lock.
That's the lock. So
the lock is on the back side. There's their flipper there.
Here is the flipper tab. It's crazy, guys. It's nuts.
I screwed up. You were right. The lock is on the left.
This is the flipper. The lock side is the flipper, the traditional lock side.
Yeah.
So you pull back on the tip of the bolster, and this rotates down, like towards the blade, and the blade flips out.
There's a little internal stop pin that hooks to the blade and flips it out when you rotate the bolster. It's fucking cool.
And then when on the show side,
you just give it a little twist.
You give it a little twist here, click. And then it dropped. It's the most crazy thing I've ever seen.
There's a guy in Italy making them too. With
those are great too.
Stefani something.
Stefani something on Instagram.
Yeah, he's making them too. His are really nice, but I don't care. I want to Stan Wilson. I don't want that guy.
I'll take that guy's because I think it's awesome. Just the
he's
mechanics
really
of it
good.
all.
Yeah, Stefano's are nice. His are nice.
I just think it's a bit ballsy to do like such a unique design.
Well,
I know he has permission.
I approached him when I first saw it. Somebody had posted it on Facebook or some shit.
Yeah.
And I got defensive because Stan was a friend. So I fired off a message to the guy, and he's like, no, you misunderstand. He was very polite. He understood where I was coming from. But I wasn't attacking him, that I was defending my friend.
Right.
And he's like, no. He goes, not only did Stan give me permission to do it, but he taught me how to do it.
Right.
And that's the thing with Stan. And that was one of the things that impressed me with him when I first met him. When we were talking about the non-flipper flipper, and we were talking about the way that he builds his advisor and other things like that, I'm like, dude, you should totally patent the non-flipper flipper. He goes, what good does it do if I create something and then I prohibit anybody else in the industry from doing it? He goes, the industry doesn't grow at that point. He goes, that's greedy. That's only something that would be for me. He goes, I want to do things that benefit the entire knife industry, because when I'm dead in 50 years, 100 years, whatever it is, he goes, that can carry on and people can continue to do that. And they don't need my permission to do it.
No, that's great.
Respect for that.
Yeah, he's a very generous guy in that way. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be that generous if I came up with something that cool.
He's literally a genius. He's got this Einstein mentality. You can talk to him and you can see the gears turning, and he's figuring out complex geometry in his brain in real time.
Yeah.
It's nuts. It's absolutely crazy. But he's a genius. But he's very, very smart. He's a very nice guy. He's a very humble guy. He has he's not pretentious in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
Who's a pretty cool dude too, by the way, kind of on that same side of the world, is Reese Whelan.
Yeah, Reese just lives a couple miles down the road from Stan. Yeah.
Dude, he's so cool. Like, one of my coworker, he goes by the Acuminous Edge on Instagram. Big microtech guy, Marfion and stuff. So he would take like a stock production SOCOM aluminum handle. He would send it out to his buddies like Chad Moss and a couple other guys. Put like frag pattern handles, carbon fiber, all kinds of weird materials. He's made tons of them. So then he comes up to me. He's like, hey, have you heard of Reese Whelan? I'm like, are you joking, right? And he's like, I'm like, what are you doing with Reese? Like, that's not like usually your style. He's like, well, I'm sending him a SOCOM. He's building me a fully polished rainbow Damascus blade and clip for it.
I'm like, really? He did that because him and Tony Marfion have history. So I'm surprised that he would touch anything that Marfion made.
Yeah.
Well, what I actually saw it 2 days ago. It just got back from Reese, and it looks perfect. He even did it like the custom compound grind and everything. Like, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna borrow that knife for a video, so like I'll show it off. But dude,
newer collectors don't know Reese's name, and they don't realize.
I know
he's awesome.
Stuff that he has done.
I've owned a couple and I've videoed others.
He's old school, like he's from like a different era and a different style of knife collecting where we like that absurd, crazy shit, and he did a lot of really cool stuff with Emerson knives too. He made like these super wide, like CQC 7s back in the day, like all kinds of stuff. So I think it's really cool to revive his name because he's still around. He's still doing shit.
Yeah.
Like, by far. And like, I was shocked that my friend just got in with him like that. So I mean, that's saying something, that's for sure.
Well, I mean, Reese is like everybody else. He's got bills to pay too. So if he's got room on his books, I'm not gonna go into pricing, and we all know why, but my jaw dropped. I'll just say that it was so cheap. And when he told me how cheap it was, but he's always, if you compared somebody that was making a knife as good as he's able to, and compare the knives, he's going to be relatively lower in price, and he works quickly too.
That was a quick turnaround for that, and I'm still going to use the word cheap because it was that shocking at how little he charged for all that work he did. Like, it was, let's just say that it was not even half of the price to build that knife than like a custom Marfion. not even close to half price.
Hmm.
And I found it much more unique. Definitely. I mean,
Right.
even the
for
clip's
sure.
got that rainbow Damascus on it. It looks great.
That's
and
cool.
I think the scales, they put Stingray inserts in there.
Yeah.
So
That's really cool.
typical. Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Oh, and I got to do one shameless plug. I got
Okay.
a video coming out in half an hour. So
okay.
Everybody go watch it.
Oh
Gun
yeah, he likes to do the premieres.
Gun content.
Yeah, see, I don't do
we're
that
doing
premiere shit. I don't know how
yeah.
you do the scheduling you do. I could never record something and then hold on to it for 2 weeks before. No, I can't do that. I'll record the video, then I'm editing it, and then it's going up.
I record it, I edit it, which is very minimal editing for me. I fade to black and I pump up the volume so you can hear it. That's about it. Every so often I throw a picture in, I upload it, I schedule it, and I move on. I have to. I got 3 or 4 more.
You're doing
to
2 a day. I couldn't.
It's usually only 1 a day. If there's an unboxing, it's kind of sometimes 2 a day. But I'm kind of trying to slow down a little bit and just some of my unboxings come in the morning and I just do 1 a day. Whatever, spread it out.
No, you got to enjoy what you're doing is the whole thing. And when you start feeling pressure, like sometimes I'll get to that point where I've got a lot of stuff coming in, and I'll feel the pressure.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then you don't want to sit down and do it. And there have been plenty of times where I've finished the video and I go back to edit it. So you're listening to what you're saying, and I'm like, man, I don't really have a lot of enthusiasm. It seems like I don't want to be doing this. I'm like, I don't want to come off like that. So then I'll come back up here and re-record it so that it's not boring and just But there are definitely days where I'm like, I just don't want to make a video today. But I've had a lot of free time over the past 1.5 years. That's for damn sure.
Yeah, that's why I do like 3 or 4 in a day, and then I'll spend like the weekends. I'll do 3 or 4 on Saturday, couple on Sunday, and then that covers like the whole week. And then
I haven't had a chance to tell you, Dirk, the good news. I've kind of told Alex a little bit.
Oh, sure, you guys keeping secrets.
So I think I'm on the back side now, the other side now of the health issues that I was having. Okay. So I'm actually going to start being able to get back out in the shop and make knives again. Thank God. I've got so many people that have been so unbelievably supportive and patient and understanding of my situation that it actually, I kind of feel a little bit emotional about it, because I've been dealing with this whole monkey on my back about, I've got a lot of knives that I need to make. I'm unable to do it, and it makes me feel bad. I've stayed in constant contact with everyone. I never did that thing where people are like, I thought I ordered a knife from so-and-so, but that was 6 months ago, and I haven't heard from. I don't play that game, but I still felt terrible, because it's been like, are you getting any closer on my build? And then I'll have to send them like a little picture of me standing in front of the doctor that I was at the week before or something. I'm like, no, not quite there yet, because it was literally a physical hazard for me to be around machinery for the past 1.5 years. So it looks like I'm finally getting on the other side of it. Thank God.
Awesome. Well, just take it easy. Don't push. Just take it easy so you don't end up bad.
No headstands on a motorcycle.
That's what people don't know is I gave up pretty much everything in my personal life too. I sold my Harley because it was too terrifying for me to think, number one, of going down the freeway at 80 miles an hour and then having a vertigo attack or a pinched nerve where all of a sudden one of my hands stops working. It was another thing to go, if I could get to the side of the road, well, it doesn't matter. You're not in a car. I'm holding up a 750-pound bike.
Yeah, no, you're done.
If I lose consciousness, I go down and I end up with a very hot motor on top of me and a lot of weight. So I gave up a lot of things in my personal life. I was barely driving my car. I was barely ever leaving the house. And realize that's coming right after the lockdown. So we had all the bullshit of 2020. My kid was out of school because schools were closed. So we're doing the homeschooling. Me and him are doing the homeschooling. And then once that started, they were talking about getting back to normal. That's when I started having all the issues with the degenerative discs and all the pinched nerves and everything. And this entire time, every doctor I went to in Texas, the neurologists, everybody, and the doctors I went to here had always connected the dizziness and the vertigo to the pinched nerves and the issues with my neck. And it turns out it may have been something far, far simpler that I discovered by accident about a week and a half ago, almost 2 weeks. Tomorrow makes 2 weeks. And I made this change and went, holy shit. I've gone a day without symptoms, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. Because I was literally getting symptoms every single day. I still have a lot of pain in my neck and my back, and there are days I can't turn my head. But pain is something I can live with. But the never knowing when all of a sudden I was going to black out, or all of a sudden I was going to get dizzy. And then when that happened, it would trigger my heart palpitations. My heart rate would drop down dangerously low, and my body would counter that by spiking it into hypertensive crisis. So it's all this shit all at once. And you guys are very familiar with that. You guys have been wonderfully supportive too, and people that I could talk to. But as far as people out there that were kind of wondering, okay, I haven't seen Jim make a knife in a while, that's why.
So what was this magic change that you did?
So I was wearing, and it just dawned on me that it was around the same time that I had started getting into progressive lenses.
Mine are progressives.
And I never once thought about it. I've had glasses that I didn't adapt to well before, like there's this new laser lenses or some bullshit.
Yep.
And it puts strain on my eyes. So I kind of figured if I ever didn't adapt to a pair of lenses, I would feel strained. Well, it turns out when I Googled it, if you're non-adaptive to progressives, what are your side effects? And dizziness, double vision, all these things that I was getting all the time.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go back to my single vision lenses. That's why I have them off right now, because I can't see.
You can't. No,
I have to be way far away.
Yep.
So I went back and I grabbed one of my single vision lenses and I put those on, and I went for a few days and went, no symptoms, nothing.
That's awesome.
It was a little weird when I got progressives. It was, my brain took a minute.
I don't think my seg heights were in the right places. I think that I was looking through somewhere that I shouldn't have been. I don't know if they weren't decentered properly or what.
Right.
But something wasn't right. And it wasn't like, because you will know if you have lenses that are too curved or something, you can turn your head, you feel like you're in a fishbowl.
Yep.
None of that. Never had any of that. There was no indication that those weren't right for me.
Yeah, it took me a couple of weeks to figure out my brain to adjust to these. But these were my first glasses ever. Like, I never had glasses. And
I've been wearing glasses since I
needed glasses, and they go, this is what you need. So I'm like, okay, this is what I'll get.
Yeah.
And at first I'm like, what the F is wrong with these things? I can't, like, there was like a little tiny window that I could actually see. And they're like, no, just wear them.
Yeah, it's nuts. I didn't have a hard time as I was looking through them, but it was doing something that apparently happens to.
Well, maybe, hopefully that continues.
Yeah,
and that is the easy.
Cross my fingers.
Fix.
It's aggravating, and I was thinking about it. I'm like, I don't know whether to be extraordinarily relieved because this may be the end of it, or be really, really pissed off because it was something so simple that not one doctor. No neurologist, no specialist, nobody went, well, what kind of glasses are you wearing? Let's take a look at this.
It's only money. Just move on. That's in the past. Let's not even go there.
Dude, the medical bills that piled up.
The symptoms you were telling me, from the symptoms you were telling me, I almost thought inner ear.
That was one of the things that we checked out too. So I had to go to another specialist. I had to go to an ENT. And no loose crystals in the ear, nothing like that. It was, they could only go back to my neck because I have so much damage in my neck. And they had found all the hot spots. They had found all the exposed nerves. And I've got a touch of arthritis at one vertebrae. So if I move the wrong way, not only will my nerve get pinched, but it'll actually hit that jagged arthritic growth. So there are days that an arm will go numb. An arm and a leg will go numb. There are times I'll lose strength in my hand, my right hand usually. So I could literally be holding a knife and grinding a knife and my fucking hand will let go of it. That's not scary or anything. So yeah, it was just, I'm hoping that's 100% of what it was, or it may have just been one of the triggers. We don't really know yet because I'm just kind of playing it by ear.
Yep.
But I have been able to step back out of the shop. I just finished a Damascus bone chopper for a customer that's been waiting, that full year and a half. He's been waiting a long, long time. So I contacted him. I said, okay, I've had 3 good days, so I'm going to hop out in the shop and see what I can do. And he actually lives here in Delaware.
Okay, cool.
I'm going to hop out in the shop and see what I can do. I can't promise anything, but
right.
What I do with everybody is I send everybody work in progress pictures.
Yep.
Even if nothing's been done yet and all I've done is cut it out. Here's a picture of your knife cut to shape, because people love to see progress. They love to see what happens as their knife is being built.
It's all about communication. That's all we want as the customer. Having ordered custom knives, I just want communication. That's all. I don't even need progress.
Hey, I'm going to try and get this done and do this and do that. And then I had a little problem with the etch so I finished the knife. You're at the last step, which is etch, edge, and assemble. And the etch got botched. And I'm like, I can't figure out what's going on here. So I had to resurface grind the whole knife, had to regrind all the bevels, went back and I redid it. I said, you've waited so long for this knife. And you've been so not only understanding, but cordial about the whole thing. I said, I'm gonna throw a little bit of stank on it. So I did a couple little extra little touches, some nice two-tone touches to it to really highlight the overall shape of the knife. That something that I like to do to Damascus every now and then is I'll do satin finishes in various places. And
love it.
Sent him the video. I'm like, here you go. Hope you like it. He's like, oh, I love it. It's great. So yeah, I'm sorry if I'm too animated, but I'm very excited that I'm able to get back out of the shop and I'm able to actually work again. So if anybody out there watching has an order in with me, the process starts now. Thank God.
Yep.
So I get to get back on the horse because I've got like 40 knives that are in various stages of completion that I've had laid out on my benches. And they had to make the move cross country and everything else as carefully as possible. And so I see them every day and they're laying out in front of me. And I'm like, God, I wish I could do this. I wish I could do that. Now I can actually start doing that. And I'm so happy. And I'm so thankful to all my amazing customers that have been so wonderfully supportive. So just wanted to get that piece out there and share my excitement that I'm able to do it again.
That's a great news. I think that's a great kind of ending point. We've been here for a while, and I have to go get pizza at some point. So,
pizza.
I think that's a great kind of
Here goes Dirk with his pizza
wrapping
again.
things up. Now, there's a new pizza place in town. My girlfriend said, let's go there tonight. And so she's going to be over here at some point, anytime here. So I think it's a good time to wrap things up. And as always,
man, it was fun to have you, Jim.
Jim coming on. We appreciate you. Like 12 viewers that are there watching and hanging out with us.
I appreciate you guys inviting me back for a second time. It's been a lot of fun.
And we almost had Alex for the whole thing, but like again,
I was a minute late.
We're gonna have to do the third.
My daughter hid my cable for my. My daughter hid my cable for my thing because she likes to pull on wires and shit. So I was running around the whole house. Where's my speaker wire?
Oh boy, kids, you gotta love them.
The other day was my wallet.
Oh my God, yeah, you're lucky you didn't find it in the toilet.
Well, no, she won't do that. But luckily, my car keys and my wallet were together. Actually, I was actually looking for both, so she left it in a really clever spot. My daughter, for those of you who don't know, has autism. So she has like this OCD of putting things away where she thinks it's like supposed to be put away.
Right.
So yeah, fun. I get to play hide and seek all damn day.
All the time. That's great.
It's an adventure every day.
It is.
I love living by myself. Everything is right where I put it. When I leave and I come back, everything is exactly where it was before. So it's easy.
That's why I got a knife box.
So, yeah, Jim, Alex, thanks for hanging out for a while. I love it. Had some good conversations. You guys hang on while we say goodbye to everybody else. And you guys come back in a couple of weeks, and we'll BS about something else in a few weeks. All right, thanks, everyone.
See you guys. Thanks, Jim.